Hello everyone, and welcome to ShadowCast. Today, we are going to be discussing, or tonight, whenever you listen to this, I don't know, we're going to be discussing a rather eerie by the incredibly deep, dark, and fascinating No Sleep on Reddit.
Hell yeah.
Yes, I've got Cayliegh here with me. We're going to be discussing a story that an individual posted, and this attention from Mikey Glam and Gore on YouTube, so check her out. But she texted me one day and said, you got to check this out, because she figured I was going to like it. She was right. I do. And so let's go over this kind of a thing. But
Let's do it.
very account of supposedly real events that have transpired in a Australian man's life. Now, this may keep you up at night. It helps to see things. We don't have the visual aspect yet, but we are going to provide the most we can through the telling of the story. So yeah, let's start, though, with This Week in Weird with Cayliegh Elise. Cayliegh?
Are you ready?
Oh, I'm always ready for This Week in Weird.
Are you sure you're ready?
I'm not really sure,
Okay.
but hit me with it
Alrighty.
anyway.
Well, our first story today comes from a Twitter user, so thank you for tweeting us. Lucy Zheng, who tweeted this today, comes from a Twitter user, so thank you for tweeting us. Lucy Zheng, who tweeted this article to me yesterday. Thank you, Lucy, for discovering this gem. And speaking of discovering things, do you know where you shouldn't go shopping for makeup?
Hold on. Inside an oven that's turned on. Inside an oven that's turned on.
That is also a good place. It would probably all be melted, but no, I was
Right.
thinking more the site of a plane crash. It's where you should not go.
Okay, that's also a good area
Yeah.
not to go. Okay, why?
Okay, the headline is Ukraine woman posts selfie.
Oh, okay, why?
Okay, the headline is Ukraine woman posts selfies with mascara looted from the Malaysia Airlines crash.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
No. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to be using some terminology that even I had to look up for this one, so don't feel bad. Here we go. Terminology that even I had to look up for this one, so don't feel bad. Here we go. Pro-Russians is in this article. I had no idea what that was because I'm totally ignorant. I had to look it up. Pro-Russians are a group of Ukrainians in the military personnel who have formed a militia under the command of pro-Russian rebel commander Igor Girkin. Basically, they have control over an area in eastern Ukraine where this plane was shot down. They are widely blamed for shooting down Malaysia Airlines flight MH17.
Right.
They've shot down as many as 10 Ukrainian planes, strikes against the military, not necessarily people.
Right.
They said which was a passenger plane and not a cargo plane. It ended up killing everyone on board, 283 passengers, 15 crew members in total. So that's a little backstory for that, so you have an idea of what's going on here.
It was a tragedy that if you haven't heard of it, you probably need to hop online a little more often or watch some television.
So that's
Yeah,
what that's
yeah.
all about. So in case you haven't
Right.
heard, all that went down. And all that being said, a young pro-Russia separatist woman, so she's a part of this group, her name is hard to pronounce, gonna try, Yekaterina Parkhomenko. She
Okay.
boasted in an Instagram post of looting MH17. She wrote in the caption of her picture, holding the mascara and wearing the mascara from Amsterdam, or rather from the field. Well, I think you know what I mean. And then she got a shitstorm. She said that she did not collect it herself, but that it was given to her by a familiar friend. And gee, I wonder why people are still angry. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who the fuck grabbed it.
Yeah, exactly. She said her account was deleted not long after the posts were made, but she said before she went, I am just sick of all this Ukrainian stuff, sick and terribly furious, though it's not really clear what she's talking about, whether she's talking about Ukrainian, like, makeup,
Oh, she's
or if
so
she's talking
sick
about
over it.
Ukrainian government issue. I don't know what she's talking about.
So wear the makeup of people that.
Yeah.
That is makeup of people that.
Yeah.
That is so wrong.
And this wasn't the only instance of family members finding out that their loved ones had been looted after the plane crash. Because this became such a big thing, family members of several of the passengers on the flight said that credit cards had been stolen at the crash site and used by thieves. And the reason that this is possible is that this group is not allowing officials to secure the site of the crash to investigate, and they're not allowing them to secure the site to send the bodies back to families.
Yeah. See, this think like if the world burned, I don't really give a shit. You know, if there's tons of great people here, don't get me wrong, but the fact that you would run up, you like see a plane go down, you run up, and I've seen pictures of the crash. Dead bodies were where.
Yeah, there was 298
That's how crashes
people
work.
aboard. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you saw dead bodies everywhere. Body parts, you know, whole bodies, everyone was dead. And you can go in there and maybe rifle through pockets. You are a sick son of a bitch. Like that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Awful.
I think the worst part of that entire thing for me was the last section where they said some families even tried dialing their love, like on their phones. They tried calling them just out of sheer desperation because, you know, you don't want it to be true.
Right,
and
exactly.
They heard people answer the phone with Eastern European bodies and from these people who just died in this plane crash, and they're answering calls that their loved ones are calling from.
Right.
Basically, the murderers of their family members are answering the phones.
Yeah, it just proves that it doesn't really fucking matter. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
starting off on a dark.
I feel that it came out too often, and I'm fucking sorry, but that is like, oh god, that is definitely a dark note.
Yeah.
Awful people. Awful, the worst of the worst. I mean, that's it. These are vultures. That's it. That's it. These are vultures just in human form. They are practically meaningless, and they will never make any meaningful impact in the world. They will always just scavenge off of what anybody else has created or lost, and that's it.
Totally
that's all they'll be.
Disgusting.
Right. Disgusting, lost, and that's it.
Totally
that's all they'll be.
Disgusting.
Right. Disgusting assholes. Pieces of shit.
Yeah.
The lowest of the low. And that's it. That's all there is to it.
That's all you gotta say.
As far as I'm concerned, lower than the people who shot down the fucking plane, because if you think about it, they're, and I get it, I don't think the cause is right, but, you know, for shooting down planes and shit like that, but, you know, you've got people who are actually fighting for something that they believe in. You know, even ISIS to a degree is fighting for something they believe in. Yes, is it completely warped and messed up? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But these people, they don't, it's just a complete disregard for human life or any life whatsoever. These are the type of people that throw dogs off of rooftops. You know what I mean? Like, they do not have any feeling, any emotion, any reality, any real touch with reality. Yeah. And it's just shitty. Please move on to the next one.
Pisses you off. Are you ready for the next one? Are you ready for the next one?
Yes.
So my next story is about cute little fluffy little animals. Are you ready?
Thank God. Please.
Yeah, I wanted to follow that one up with a much lighter one. Although
perfect.
The headline may make you think otherwise, but here we go.
Oh, great.
Prairie dogs are serial killers that murder their competition.
Oh, great.
Prairie dogs are serial killers that murder their competition.
Love it. Love it. I'm loving it. This is great.
Are you ready?
Let's hear it. Here's animals being animals, people. Not humans being animals.
Yeah.
Animals doing what animals do. Okay. This is it. Okay.
So prairie dogs, for those of you who don't know, aren't actual dogs. They're more like beavers without the tail, or groundhogs, or they can even resemble squirrels, just bigger. I love prairie dogs because they remind me of Colorado, and I've always thought they were just cute and wonderful. But there's always a but.
There's always a but.
Always.
Each one of them has it was.
Recently, scientists have noticed that prairie dogs are biting and thrashing ground squirrels to death and leaving their bodies to rot. Prairie dogs are herbivores, which means they only eat plants. But there was a study done, I believe, for 9 years between, I want to say, 2000. A bunch of people just sat on towers and observed these little prairie dogs, and they found that they were killing ground squirrels in order to allocate resources for themselves and not have to share it with their little competition. And this is the first time that these scientists know of herbivores doing this.
I mean, obviously shitty for the ground squirrels, but
yeah.
Depending on who you ask, I guess. But no, that's it's pretty crazy how things change over time. If this is truly a change or this is just something we didn't notice before.
Yeah.
But a story, I can't remember who told it to me. One of my professors back when I was in school, but he told me, or he told the whole class, that there were a number of male elephants in, I don't know what part of the world he was actually referring to. I can't recall exactly. It was a few years ago. But rhinos. This isn't something they would typically do like that.
That's really weird.
So they were trying to figure out, these animal specialists, behavioral specialists were trying to figure out why are they doing this. And it came down to the fact that so many of the adult male elephants, the fathers, were being killed, that they had no consequences for their actions. So kind of these animals were just going off the hook and hurting things that because they had no guidance to throw them on the ground and tell them no, hurting things that because they had no guidance to throw them on the ground and tell them no, I've owned 2 German Shepherds at the same time. We had one who was old and then one that came in as a puppy. When he would screw around, the old one would run right over and put him down. And he's now to this day one of the best, and you've met him, Cayliegh, last time you were here. He's one of the best behaved German Shepherds I've ever
Okay, so Major was the older one, and Ruger
Major was the
puppy?
older one.
Okay.
Ruger is the younger one, but Ruger only developed such a good temperament because
of Major.
Major would grab him by the neck and force him to the floor and hold him there until he relaxed.
Until he understood that what he had done was not acceptable.
Right. So I wonder if this is with the prairie dogs, if this is one of those situations.
I don't know. What I do
You
know...
said prairie dogs, right? Prairie dogs?
Yes, prairie dogs.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What I do know is thought it was a prairie dog killing the pup of another litter, which is apparently also common among prairie dogs to commit, what's it called?
Infanticide?
Yes.
Infanticide.
Infanticide. Over the last 5 years, they've counted 101 ground squirrel murders plus 62.
We have a few suspects in custody.
Exactly.
We're still questioning.
Most murders occurred in May, and it's gonna be May, which is...
Why would you even do that?
This is my favorite joke ever. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
But this is when the young squirrels will emerge from their nests and begin searching for food. So that's kind of why that happens around that time. They even have particular squirrels that they have named. One earned the name Killer Supreme because he killed 9 ground squirrels in 4 years.
So he's like the war hero.
Yeah. But
he comes back and all the other prairie dogs. The prairie dog women are all spreading their little prairie dog legs.
Oh my
yes.
God.
Women are all spreading their little prairie dog legs.
Oh my
yes.
God.
Let's have little warrior children. All right.
I'm not sure.
There's a thought in your head for the next. Go ahead. Yeah, just keep going.
Oh, okay. I will try to forget that.
Yeah,
Ever
try.
said that.
Do your best. Good luck. Good luck.
There's another one. There's another one that is so vicious that they didn't even name him, but he killed 7 juvenile squirrels in a single day.
Do you think they didn't name him on purpose, or do you think they realized they were naming groundhogs Supreme Killer?
I think it was maybe the latter.
Or Killer Supreme.
They were getting super into it.
Maybe they realized are just trying to name prairie dogs and not getting anything else done. Maybe we should just stop naming them.
Yeah.
That could be it.
What is interesting, though, is that apparently the killer's offspring, like the prairie dogs who kill ground squirrels, their offspring, as opposed to the prairie dogs who don't, lived better and longer, had better chances of surviving. And that was the only factor that went into it when they did this study. They found no other factor that determined chances of survival other than did their parents kill the surrounding ground squirrels or not.
Great. All right. Perfect. Great. All right. Perfect. Cool. All right.
Look at that.
Is that it for Murderous Prairie Dogs?
It is.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
All right.
Shout out to Killer Supreme.
Hell yeah.
For
my favorite
not
prairie
taking
dog.
any crap, not taking any crap from anyone. Go ahead.
Okay. Slightly lighter note here, and by
Oh, sure.
lighter,
Yeah, okay.
I mean lighter fluid. By lighter fluid, I mean fire. So.
Oh, great. I'd expect nothing less.
Yeah. Customer at German sex shop, which was burning to the ground around him, had to be rescued by firefighters because he refused to leave until he reached the climax of the film, Throbbing Hood.
Oh my god. First, yes.
Uh-huh.
I think every man has found themselves in that position. The house is burning. You want to finish your flick. Secondly, Throbbing Hood sounds absolutely fucking repulsive.
Mm-hmm.
Again, apologies for... Oh my... Okay, go. Just go.
Okay. The man's name has not been released, which I think is probably a good thing for him.
Did he release? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh my god. He was watching I can't. Okay, he was watching a pornographic film locked in a room in the sex shop fire, close to where he's at. He stayed in there so long that the smoke inhalation was causing him to cough, but he was insistent on staying until the end of the film.
So he was into the plot at this point.
Yes.
This isn't about masturbating
No, it's
anymore.
not.
This is about, okay, what happens to Throbbing Hood? All right.
Sexy Angel was the name of the shop.
Right.
Sexy Angel was the name of the shop. That's one word. And it is located in what is known as the Square Mile of Sin in Hamburg. Firefighters had to enter this establishment to find this man. They find him and described him as being in a state of high sexual arousal and had to drag him from the burning building. And as they got him to safety, he was yelling, "I have paid 750 euros for this and I haven't finished yet."
750 euros?
No, 7.50.
Just 7. Oh, God. All right. Okay. You know, there's being I think this guy was just being frugal, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would have, 750. That's a gallon of gas here.
Mm-hmm.
In the States. Oh my god.
Oh.
So is he okay, but he's alright?
He had to be treated for smoke inhalation, but other than that, he's fine.
Time.
Yep.
Once they rebuild Sexy Angel, it is?
Yeah. Sexy Angel.
Man,
In
that
the
sounds like a place
Square
I need to
Mile
drop
of
by.
Sin.
Shit, the Square Mile of Sin.
I want to go there.
Sexy Angel.
Mm-hmm.
I just imagine the music in that place.
Oh god, I don't even want to think about it.
It's incredible. I'm going to drop by there one day. I'll tell you guys if...
I want to think about it.
It's incredible. I'm going to drop by there one day. I'll tell you guys if... I'll set the building on fire, too. I'll tell you guys if I'm able to leave by my own free will.
Oh my god.
Or if I have to be dragged out because Throbbing Hood's about to end and I need to know what happens to the
that's
sheriff.
all I have for this week in Weird.
Thank you, Cayliegh, for filling us in on This Week in Weird.
That's all I have for this week in Weird.
Thank you, Cayliegh, for filling us in on This Week in Weird. Let's jump right into the real stuff, the dark stuff.
Hell yeah.
We, again, shout out to Mikey, who provided me with a story
Thanks, Mikey.
a number of weeks ago. Okay, on Reddit. His name is Skinna555. SKINNA 555. Okay. Again, guys, if you really want to follow along and do all this, I recommend downloading it. You can download this on SoundCloud as well. I will make that possible for you. So the title, took a Snapchat for my friends. Something is in the background that has me freaking out. Thoughts. Then pics/videos included in post. And he goes into talking about how he was showing, he's from Australia. His parents update his Snapchat story to show his friends because a lot of them ask what the birds' names are and what they look like. Weird because as friends, you'd think they'd know already.
Yeah. Or you could just, I don't know, I feel like you'd have pictures. Like, I have pictures of my dog on my phone. That's pretty much all that's on my phone.
Right. Some have, they'll Snapchat me, do you have pets? And what are their names? That's fine. But if it's just your friends, you'd think they'd already know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Moving past that, he took 3 separate Snapchat videos. And he put them on his story and, for everyone to see. Now, about 15 minutes after everyone to see. Now, about 15 minutes after uploading, he received a message from one of his good but not great friends. He specifies it's a good friend, but he's not a great friend.
Acquaintance.
Which is kind of sad because, maybe the friend ended up seeing this.
That's really
Which is kind of sad because, maybe the friend ended up seeing this.
That's really sad.
Now, this photo was uploaded 5 months ago. Now, I'm not sure how Reddit's system exactly works. I know a lot of social media out there, they round it up or keep it down until the very day where it ticks in. So he posted this photo 5 months ago. And this is the message he got from his friend. Ah ha ha ha, you bearded beast, those birds are mad. By the way, the fuck was that in the window behind you in the last one? Ha ha. 5 months ago. Now, he had no idea what the guy was talking about, so he went back and watched his own story a few times over to make sure he could see what this guy's talking about. On the third or fourth watch, he noticed what the guy was talking about, and it immediately he noticed what the guy was talking about, and it immediately made him feel distressed.
Yes.
To say the least.
Very distressed.
So he saved his story. He uploaded it to his computer so he could see it larger. And he reviewed it a number of times. And then he shared these larger. And he reviewed it a number of times. And then he shared these videos. Each one, the first two aren't anything but him showing birds. The third one, he also shows a bird, but he passes by his screen door, one of the entrances to the home he's in. And there is clearly entrances to the home he's in. And there is clearly something, I'm going to say a person looking, it looks like a person with their face pressed up against the screen, hands cupped by their face. Now it's pretty blurry. It's only in frame for probably... now it's pretty blurry. It's only in frame for probably a second.
Yeah, it's not very long at all, but in the first Snapchat video that he put up, you can see the screen door behind him. And he said all of these Snapchats were taken in about 40 seconds total. So he just shot them one after the other, basically. But in the first video he put up...
It freaks him out. Now, aside from the fact that, yes, there might be something right there that is creepy itself, if a person's staring in
honestly.
your... Yeah, right. If a person's staring in your damn door... and you have your screen door, that's all you've got separating you. You don't even have the door closed and fully locked. That's scary. Yeah. Or I don't know if he's married to her, probably dating, because he refers to this girl as his partner. So he moved out of his parents' house, like most of us do, into a rental place with his girlfriend, and now they're building a house together. Okay, so they're waiting for construction, and now they're building a house together. Okay, so they're waiting for construction to end, but they don't want to move for whatever reason directly out from their rental and to the new home that they're having built. They don't want to have to wait and move out all of a sudden into one place into the built. They don't want to have to wait and move out all of a sudden into one place into the other. Maybe it's to save money because they don't feel like paying rent for the last few months. I get it.
He said he didn't want to, they wanted to save some cash.
Right, which makes sense because if your here's the thing, he moved back in with his parents into his parents' house now, so that makes sense that he moved back in with his parents into his parents' house now, so that makes sense that maybe the house is going to take 5-6 months to finish, but you have a guaranteed place to live. In 6 months, you will be at a new place. There is no question about it. You know what I mean? So you move back in with your family because they're saying, hey, listen, we're not going to charge you rent, or we're going to charge you something very minuscule. Come live with us, save the last 6 months of rent, for your new home. So he moves back in with his parents. Now, a little backstory to this individual, this guy, Skinna555. He
sorry, that's just what you said. He's like, Skinna555.
So from about the age 8 until 10, he had episodes of sleep paralysis, which he claims happened 1 or 2 times a month. Now, when he woke up under sleep paralysis, he felt there was a great weight sitting on his chest, and he couldn't breathe for around 40 seconds at a time. Obviously, he had insomnia about going to bed, And he would often have, this only progressed. This only got worse. Age 12 or 13, he would get chronic episodes almost every single night that lasted minutes to tens of minutes. Okay. He could breathe. He couldn't move. However, to tens of minutes. Okay. He could breathe. He couldn't move. However, and if any of you have experienced sleep paralysis, Cayliegh, have you?
I have several times. It's not fun.
Explain it. Do you mind explaining it?
No, not at all. I actually did explain it in a video.
Okay.
A long time ago, one of my older videos. I always called them night terrors because I didn't know what they were, and a night terror was the closest thing I could come to. But a lot of times you don't remember night terrors. Sleep paralysis is different in that you are actually awake when you're kind of experiencing it, like you not moving. It's not a fun feeling. Some people will experience like the heaviness, like someone sitting on their chest. Some people experience the feeling of being watched, or that they're being preyed upon by something that wants them harmed or their family harmed. Some people experience auditory hallucinations or have a visual hallucination, and that was not fun at all. I felt I was in...
Do you mind expanding on it? Or do you not want to?
Oh, no, I can.
Okay.
This is the one that was in the video. I was in Colorado with my family, sleeping right next to my best friend. We were on vacation, staying at a condo, and the closet door was slid back. It was a sliding closet door, and in the closet, I woke up, couldn't move, felt like I couldn't breathe, so very light of breath, having trouble, I don't know, just breathing in general. But I looked over to the closet, and there was this white cloth. It looked almost like a towel or a dress or something in the floor of the closet, just rumpled. And all of a sudden, this figure started kind of coming up from it, like bone by bone. It was kind of cracking its way into this thing. And it was this girl with really long, blonde, dirty hair, in a white dress, and she proceeded to walk very quickly, like she was shuffling her feet across the carpet in a very unsettling way, to the end of the bunk bed where there was a ladder to the top bunk. And she climbed to the top of it, and then she was in the closet again, and it just repeated, I think 6 or 7 times before my friend woke up. And she woke up for no reason at all, which is weird. We've been best friends for a really long time, and she said she just felt like something was wrong, and she woke up and looked at me, and I was like, my eyes were like wide open, and I was freaking out, but I couldn't say anything, and she kind of had to bring me out of it. So that was not a fun experience, but yeah, I have been through that before. It's terrifying.
Is that obviously that? Thanks, brain.
Yeah.
Thanks
for that.
Creating that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only episode you ever had?
I had several others. That was probably I had one actually maybe a year ago where I was laying in my bed at the current house I'm staying in, and I was staring at my bedroom door, which I always keep locked and closed at night, and the doorknob was moving, and like someone was trying to get into my door, and I couldn't scream in place, but I could move, and it had stopped. There was no sound or anything. But that night, I went through the entire house with a knife because I was convinced someone was breaking in.
See, there you go.
It's so, if you see or hear anything, it's so very sleep paralysis. It just feels like it's there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's disturbing. I am very fortunate to say I've never experienced sleep paralysis, but I know people who have, and including you. Mm-hmm. So these kinds of things, what he's describing here, are not unheard of at all.
Like, again, the auditory and visual isn't a guarantee.
No.
I have a friend who experiences, I used to work with her. She experienced sleep paralysis almost every night for a good 3 or 4 months. And she just said that she would sit on her armchair, and she thought she was falling asleep. she thought she was falling asleep, but she just couldn't move, and she was still staring at the TV, and she would just feel this presence, like something was out to get her, like something was going to harm her, but she never actually saw or heard anything. It was just
you get
this
that feeling of impending
terror.
doom.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's I mean, I can imagine I can imagine like that would kind of spark that for me too. If I knew where I was and I knew I was under sleep paralysis, that would automatically trigger that. I've had lucid dreaming a number of times. I've dreamt reruns of dreams, like horrible nightmares, where I can number of times. I've dreamt reruns of dreams, like horrible nightmares, where I can now. I'm going through all the exact same paces. I mean, it is the exact same nightmare, and now I can change things in it so it doesn't have a bad outcome.
That's weird. I have never been able to lucid dream ever.
Oh my God, it's fantastic. Oh my God, it's fantastic. I actually, and I'll just go off on a tangent really quickly, but I was visiting with Jenna and Julian when I was in LA last, helping film that YouTube original series. I think I mentioned on ShadowCast, I don't know. But so I'm there, and I went to visit them because I often, just about every time I'm out there, I go and visit them. And we all hang out and have some drinks or whatever. But I left that night and went back to my hotel, and I had a dream that I was actually hanging out with them again. Because I guess it just happened so recently, and we were all having fun, and then all of a sudden it clicked in my head. I'm like, wait a minute, I left. This isn't
I'm not
real.
There.
I'm in a dream right now.
Yeah.
And I looked at Julian specifically, and I didn't tell them this, but I looked at Julian specifically, and I was just like in the dream, and I'm just like, wait a minute, man, this is a dream. I'm like, I already left. Like, we were having a blast. Like, this is like, oh my God, we're hanging out for a second time. Amazing. Like, we were having a blast. Like, this is like, oh my God, we're hanging out for a second time. Amazing. And I'm just like, this is a dream. And he's just like, oh, you know what? Maybe it is. And I'm like, no, it definitely is.
Are you
I'm
sure
like,
you
no,
were
it
just
is.
really drunk?
I didn't really get drunk at all. I couldn't handle it because I had to be up to shoot that. Yeah, it was so weird because I'm just like, oh man, that's such a bummer. And I was just like, well, listen, really no point in me saying bye because it's not real, but you know, thanks. And they're very nice about it. And then what I do in my dreams is I close my eyes really tightly and then open them as hard as I can, like as quickly as I can, and I wake up in real life. Crazy dream experiences I've had. But reruns and all that. I don't want to get too off topic here, but yeah, like that's the kind of shit I've experienced in horrible ways too, very scary ways. But yeah, so sleep is a very freaky ass thing.
Yeah, it is. It's the strangest thing, and the brain is the strangest thing, but it involves visuals and things you can hear. Like, it's just a whole crazy mess.
Right. I'm very fortunate that I can wake myself up from a lucid dream. It's not like I'm stuck in it. You know, which I've had lucid. Yes, and for anyone who's wondering, yes, I have had a lucid. Yes, and for anyone who's wondering, yes, I have had a lucid dream and realized I was in a dream. Obviously, that's lucid dreaming. And then I tried to take advantage of all the like limitless possibilities, and it doesn't work because your body shuts that shit off, and you begin to think logically, and your dream stops. Like, I can't fly anymore. I can't fly anymore. I just realized I'm in a dream, and I can't fly anymore.
Sad.
And what the fuck?
It's like the second you realize your powers, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if anyone's seen Mystery Men, the Invisible. Have you seen Mystery Men? Okay. One of the guys, it's a bunch of pretty much lame superpowers, and absolutely no one is looking at him, including himself. But if he looks at himself, he turns visible again. And they're like, how the hell do you know that you're actually able to turn invisible? He's just like, well, you could just feel it. And it's just like, okay. All right. So anyway, it turns out he actually can, as long as no one's looking at him. So anyway, back to the story here. So this guy has this experience. He has chronic episodes of sleep paralysis, which I think Cayliegh just very eloquently explained, and kind of you confirm that this is something you experience as well. This heaviness, this inability to breathe well, and this kind of you experience as well. This heaviness, this inability to breathe well, and this kind of feeling or hallucinations.
You feel unsafe. You feel like something's sitting on your chest.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what he said. At roughly age 14, he said that things took a turn and he started to hear and see things, maybe in one in 10, one in every 10 or so. So he starts to hear thuds, creaks, things like that happening in the house. But here's the thing that he would see. Each looking into his bedroom window, and their hands were cupped to the glass of the window. Like they're peering in.
I just got chills. Sorry.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So the person throughout this entire episode would just stand there and stare at him, which maybe stare at him, doesn't have a face.
He said he could never.
Features. So people are thinking Slender Man, whatever. Go ahead. I'm going to let you do that. So after the episode would end, he would just be gone. But this, over the course of 4 years, this was a regular thing for him. Also, just a note for everybody, I am going to put the link to this whole no sleep thing. I think that's the right advantage of it. I'll put it in the SoundCloud or in the description as much as I can. I don't know if you can click on it through iTunes or whatnot, or even SoundCloud. I don't know, but I will put it there for you.
And for those of you who have never experienced no sleep and you go to the link after this, you're welcome. Have fun.
Yeah, have fun. You'll be cruising it for a while.
And you won't sleep for a while.
Also, quick disclaimer.
And you won't sleep for a while.
Also, quick disclaimer. You might hear... That's me vaping. Get over it. All right. I have that disclaimer in every episode, except usually I do it towards the beginning.
Yeah.
Every episode recently. So, he moved out at age 18 out of his parents' house. Never had an episode where he saw anything after that. Out of his parents' house. Never had an episode where he saw anything after that. Now, as of 4 months ago, he was 26 years old. And he very, very occasionally, perhaps once a year, has very small episodes of sleep paralysis lasting less than 30 seconds.
Where he just feels the chest heaviness, right?
Right. No auditory or visual hallucinations anymore. However, what really kind of was disconcerting for him was the fact that whatever he saw pressed up against the door to his house looked and reminded him exactly of the hallucination he used to have, the worst of times for his sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Now, a number of people... Now here's the thing. It's not a reflection, apparently, because he claimed that there was no glass in front of the figure. The door was open, curtains were moved, and it is literally just a fly screen sliding door. It's just a screen. It's just mesh.
Yeah.
So it doesn't reflect. It's not a reflective surface. So
well, and again,
whatever that was.
In that first video, there's also no discoloration is what I'm calling it right now. As opposed to the third video where there is. So calling it right now. As opposed to the third video where there is. So it's clearly not a reflection.
Right. It's not a reflection. Not a reflection. You have a screen door. That's pretty much what he's saying is all that's separating him. He has videos also on YouTube. It's not on his account for whatever reason, but other people have uploaded it from him, where he I don't know if it's actually other people or just
it may have been for privacy reasons.
Right. Oh, no, you know what? It's unlisted. So you can't go to his channel and see it. You have to go through the Reddit page to see it. Because it is unlisted, so you need a link specifically to watch. So he shows the door private because news sites were coming after him, looking for information. His face wasn't blurred in the original ones, but a Reddit user eventually did blur it for him. Now, a number of Reddit users have kind of color corrected and manipulated the photo, kind of give you an idea of exactly what's on that door. And I have to say, pretty solidly, and Cayliegh, you've seen it, that there is something on the other side of that door that would definitely fit a person.
Yeah. The one, I didn't see it at first in the original video, even when I slowed it down and color isolated things, so it kind of looks like a thermal camera image. And they zoomed in and slowed it down, and you can definitely see it then, and it definitely looks like exactly what he says it looks like at that point.
Right. I saw it in the first one.
Yeah.
I was watching it in the car. I wasn't driving, don't worry. I wasn't driving, don't worry.
Sure.
I wasn't driving. Bob was actually driving me back from the airport from LA. I know, Bob was driving. It's very terrifying. That's the scariest part of this whole story. So he was driving me back actually from my LA trip where I met up with Jen and Julie and had the lucid dream where I was like, actually from my LA trip where I met up with Jen and Julie and had the lucid dream where I was like, bummer. So he was driving me back, and that's when I figured out that shit. So again, numerous people have helped out to try to figure out what it is. People have recommended, please call the police, see a priest or whatever. Cleanse your house. Sage actually, in every story I've ever seen, and now I don't, if you don't believe it, fine, but sage actually only tends to piss things off.
I've noticed
in my experience. Also, just your common blessings around the house tend to piss things off as well. It doesn't tend to actually eradicate. If you have some crazy shit going on in your home, maybe you shouldn't use sage, because it tends to be that just makes people crazy.
That was just one of the things that the people were suggesting. Right.
So people are obviously, come on, man, do something. So, and then he updated shortly thereafter. Update part 2. Took a Snapchat from my friend. Something's in the background that's freaking me out. Okay. So, do you want to kind of lead into this one?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay. Please, you take lead into this one.
Sure, I can do that.
Okay. Please, you take lead into part 2 for us.
So, after people telling him that he needed to give any evidence he could to the police or anything, he decided he's going to use this phone as a camera and keep it always charged and solely use it for the reason of if anything happens, he can just pick it up and film right away. He says he keeps all the doors locked, curtains closed at this time, and Thursday and Friday nights, it's unavoidable that he ends up being alone at the house because his partner works at a club, and I guess his parents go out and party it up on the weekend. Or something.
His parents are gone.
Yeah.
Like, he is alone in this damn house, which is just even more terrifying.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Here's what I would do, folks. If you think someone has been casing your house, or you're seeing some shit, do not be alone in the house. Just don't, obviously. If you feel like you're able to do that, install a camera or something like that. I don't know. We can talk about this. He used an old Galaxy S3 that he turned into a camera only, as Cayliegh just mentioned, so he could just pick it up and film. I think that's kind of weird. I think you're building a house.
You should have enough to buy at least a small point and shoot.
Just get a camera, right?
Why not use your normal phone? Because my normal phone's always right next to me.
True, and also why not maybe even put a camera outside or something, even like a hunting. We'll get to that later. We'll get to it later. We'll get to any parts in the story, and we're going to tell you if we believe this or not necessarily. I think this will be a new recurring theme we might do on ShadowCast, where we take these really haunting stories and we put our own kind of what we think and whatever. So continue.
Okay,
on.
so about his first paralysis episode in about a year, he said it happened at 3:30 a.m., which freaks me out because everything happens at 3:30 a.m.
Yeah, it's 3. Wasn't a lot of people have speculated that 3 is
it's
the
like
time
the witching
of like
hour,
Satan.
the devil's hour, or whatever. He wakes up. He's looking at the back of his partner's head. He wakes up. He's looking at the back of his partner's head. He can't move. He can see the window past her head, but he doesn't see anything. He does feel that dread that something was standing behind him. And when he woke up, he was hyperventilating. But he gets up the next day, goes to work. Everything seems normal. That night, he's home alone because it's Friday. He starts playing games with friends, and around 10:15, he begins to hear this banging pretty loud because he's got his headset on, coming from outside the same screen door that the Snapchat videos were taken at. He said it sounded like banging or scraping, and he stays quiet. Took the phone off of his chair that he uses as a camera, and he just started filming. So then he posts the link to he calls it the raw video that I took when these sounds were starting to happen. He posts the video to the thread. In it, you can definitely hear noises like what he described. You can hear banging and clanging, and sounds like dragging of metal or some object. But he goes to turn on the outside back light to see if he can see anyone. There's no one there. And he's kind of just walking through different rooms of his house. He walks past the dining room, into the kitchen, into the laundry dining room, into the kitchen, into the laundry room to turn on that light. And while he's passing the laundry room, I believe, he hears another bang from outside, from the opposite side of the house where the kitchen is. So he kind of circles around trying to stay into the shadows so he's not seen, to look out the kitchen window to see if he can see anything outside. There. He doesn't see anything. Turns on the light, looks outside, doesn't see anything. He said nothing happened after he took that video. He didn't go to the cops or anything. He just kept all the lights on in the house and stayed away from the windows until people went home. And he asked the commenters for help at this point because this really freaked him out near the very beginning.
Yeah, this is the part that if we're dealing with a real situation here, this guy is not doing well at this point. This is not a good thing.
Can I just say I'm home alone right now?
Yeah, exactly. You're home alone right now. This
stuff. So during this second video, sorry.
Really, aren't we all? Oh God. Okay, go ahead. Keep going. Oh jeez.
So
I just think of my own circumstances.
Throughout the second video, it's pretty dark. He doesn't start turning the lights on until after he gets freaked out. And as he's going through this first room, it's the dining room. In the enhanced version of the video, they brightened it up and kind of messed with the colors. You can see a silhouette standing against the wall behind the plant to the left. And at the end of the video, it's a single take, there's no cuts in between or anything. At the end of the video, he's in the kitchen, and it's an open kitchen dining area. He looks towards the dining room again, freaking out because this just happened to him. And you can clearly see that there's not this same mass or shape that was there before. It's completely empty in that same spot.
Right. Yeah, they enhanced the foot.
Freaked me out.
Yeah, that was a person.
Yeah.
It looks like a person who's standing there.
Big
now,
person.
I can vouch, back when I was younger, I used to play hide and go seek with my friends. And we'd play it outside in the yard, and it would be nighttime, and I dressed in pretty dark colors. I would lie down in shadows right near their feet, and they would not see me.
You would.
It's just obviously that came into a later role in my life as well through a lot of the training that I've done. But shadows are an excellent place to hide. If you look at how the video is as he's passing through the room the first time, you can't see anything because it's dark. But however, if you enhance that footage, if you turn you crank the brightness and the contrast, whatever, there is something standing there.
It's honestly...
Contrast, whatever. There is something standing there.
It's honestly... It's really tall. Whoever they are, they look really tall. They look about your height, honestly.
Yeah, so that's about 6'4" or so. 6'3", 6'4". I'm a tall 6'3".
Yeah, and it looks tall to me because I'm a 5'3".
6'3".
Yeah, and it looks tall to me because I'm a 5'3". I'm short.
There you go. Right. So everything's tall to you.
Yeah, it just
scared
funny. Me more than it should have.
Yeah, I know. Now, so he, people obviously enhance that. You see that figure standing there, and it does look like it would match what was outside of his door. What now? We don't know if he had a break-in. We don't know any of that, do we, Cayliegh?
We don't. He did.
Why don't we know that?
I don't know.
Why don't we know? Is it because we haven't been fully updated?
Yeah, in 4 months. He's gone dark.
Person, can anyone please confirm? Again, I know my swearing is scaring some people, but he says it, not me.
You know what's scaring me is this story, not your swearing.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
He showed his partner. She agreed that he should leave for the night. They needed
to leave for the night because she was staying with him too. He was replying to things. Yeah. He called
the best he could.
He did call the police. They checked out the house and didn't see anything out of place. And the original poster did take a video of the house layout during the daylight to kind of give people an idea of what it usually looks like during the day.
Right.
Just to kind of see his route as he goes through that video.
Did we mention the motion sensor light?
No. At the very end of his first post, he said, over the next few days, nothing really happened. he didn't see anything weird or hear anything weird, but he did say that he started noticing that the back motion sensor light for the backyard would start coming on. But he said that that might also be a case of it's something that always happens and you just don't notice it until you start paying attention.
Right, exactly. It could be anything that sets those sons of bitches off. I've had enough of them to know that they can go off for whatever reasons. Mm-hmm. That doesn't indicate anything. They can go off for whatever reasons. Mm-hmm. That doesn't indicate anything for sure. Mm-hmm. Definitely doesn't make you feel good. No. So his final edit was, he said, "I'm fine. My partner and I are staying at our friend's house until the end of the working week. Mm-hmm. I've been really slack replying to PMs, but I have been so busy it's not funny. Nothing has been stolen from the house that we can see, and the birds are fine. The police don't want me talking too much about everything. Not sure if Reddit counts, but they believe that I think it does. But they
spoiler, it does.
But they tried to rob my parents while they were away. When one got in and realized I was home, his buddy tried to make noise to lure me outside, and when it didn't work, he slipped out. My problem with this theory is that all doors and windows were locked from the inside when they came, so how did these guys get in? The cops think maybe that the one guy came in through the roof. This would mean that whoever slipped out behind me towards the end of my video had to slowly walk up the stairs. They creak and thud, if you don't know. And go into my parents' room and climb into my roof, all while I was right under them. I'm still freaking the fuck out. And climb into my roof, all while I was right under them. I'm still freaking the fuck out. My first set of videos with this one is leaving me in tatters. We're going to stay here with my friends until the end of the working week, go to my nan's house 1 hour away to see our dogs on Saturday, and then discuss whether or not we'll go by my parents or not. Monetarily, we can't really afford not to." Mm-hmm. So that was the last update he had on his post. He has replied to comments, nothing too big, more than just, "Oh my God, thanks for, doing that." So yeah, and months ago, he posted on a Reddit link called "What is your favorite loophole?" He commented, "If you're good at something, you should get paid for it." And then he posted again, "What?" That's it.
Interesting.
He also posted on two other things. Virunga 2014, a group of brave individuals risked their lives to save. Is this 4 times total 3 months ago and not since. Also, his videos on his YouTube channel that are available to be viewed, comments are disabled. Mm-hmm. And the ratings aren't that great. 226 thumbs up, 69 thumbs down. That's not awesome. That's not a great ratio. 226 thumbs up, 69 thumbs down. That's not awesome. That's not a great ratio.
Sorry.
Right. That just proves that people are, either not buying it or they're, whatever. So, yeah. And here's the thing. He disables YouTube comments, which I half get and I half don't, because you kind of want an explanation if anyone has it, right? Because that's what he went to No Sleep for. Yes. But he goes to YouTube and he disables the comments, but YouTube's a different set of people. Mm-hmm. This isn't the No Sleep community where these people are actually genuinely trying to help him and they're genuinely interested in the problem. Mm-hmm. I have never seen this part of Reddit so positively just buying into this.
Non-judgmental and...
Right, non-judgmental. Not telling him he's full of shit. Yeah. You're going to have people every now and then that come in, but whatever. But YouTube is full of that. Mm-hmm. Forget it. Because this isn't, a specified area where you're supposed to tell these kinds of things. So you're going to get anybody and everyone.
This Reddit forum is a specified area where it's like, I think you can get kicked out for being like, "Oh, this is a load of shit,"
Right,
they
right. It's just being negative and unhelpful.
That you're not allowed to say stuff like that. That everything that is posted there, you just have to take as true.
Right. So just have fun with it, really. Mm-hmm. So is that all we've got for this story? Is that all we've got for this story?
I just wanted to talk about a couple of aspects of it as to why we do or don't believe it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've got 2 things for me that just feel weird. He says his parents are semi-retired. And this was in a comment that he mentioned this, and that they as of his last post, they were on their way to vacation. So were they with him when all this was happening? Because I feel like he should have mentioned it to his parents. It's their house, and he got a lot of questions from commenters being like, well, why don't you ask your parents if this is something that's happened before, if they know what's going on? And each time he kind of deflected on it.
Right. Yeah. So that's one thing. It says, like, why your parents, I mean, maybe they're out consistently every Friday, and so is your girlfriend at a club, apparently. So she worked late.
Yeah.
So he was alone by himself on, whatever Friday. But so there is no clear indication that he had a talk with his parents and what his parents' reaction is. No full fleshed out, like, story regarding that.
He doesn't even really mention them at all in this.
Right. Their house. Yeah. Now, there's also, here's the thing, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. I would much more likely believe this, and I'm not saying I'm not totally discounting it. I don't know, but I don't know what happened. But the sleep paralysis part wasn't brought into this, because then automatically you're going ghost mode. Yeah. And you're going, this is, or whatever, or this is a psychological, this is a tulpa, whatever.
Automatically, you're not thinking logically. You're thinking with your emotions and your fear, which is understandable in his situation.
Oh, we have no proof that this is, you know what I mean? Now, he hasn't posted in 3 months, which is, the first thing he ever posted on Reddit was this. And then he posted 4 times after that. And I don't know, maybe if this was some viral marketing campaign in any way, shape, or form, where they, were trying to do something, they eventually just let it go and said, listen, it's not picking up the way we want it to, whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's not the case. But they said, listen, your profile has to have more posts on it. The profile, obviously, you can't just be here only for that. Right. It's kind of fishy. Now, these things we brought up don't necessarily indicate one way or another, because, it's kind of fishy. Now, these things we brought up don't necessarily indicate one way or another, because, maybe his parents do go out every Friday night.
Yeah, maybe
even though they're semi-retired. Right. But, maybe some, people did break into his fucking house while he was sitting right there, and he walked right by one of them.
That was my other point about this whole thing. The camera he picks up, when the video starts, it basically starts in the dining room where you see that silhouette, and it ends with him looking at the camera's angled towards that corner.
That same dining room.
So it starts and ends basically with that object is in that corner. It makes me question if he's trying to get into the shot so people know there was someone there and now there's not. Right.
That was a little, from a filmmaker's perspective, if you can call YouTubers that, but
I am a filmmaker.
I'm a filmmaker. But you look at you look at that and it's kind of like, it seemed like kind of a goof. Like he was looking back to kind of solidify more the idea of there was something in this room.
And he also, this is another reason that strikes me as weird. He said, I apologize for the camera. I wasn't looking at the screen.
For the shakiness.
Yeah, I wasn't looking at the screen.
For the shakiness.
Yeah, for the shakiness, for where it's angled. So he might also be trying to deflect people off of speculating that way. He's like, oh, he wasn't even looking at the screen. He doesn't know what it's pointing towards.
Yeah, he just doesn't know.
Yeah. And we have no way of knowing if he was or wasn't. So
right, so we don't know. I'm off screen as well, to be completely honest.
Because that's the smart thing.
That's the smart thing to do. So I don't know why he cut the camera right there. Yeah. I would have filmed a lot more.
I would have filmed until I felt safe, honestly.
Exactly.
That way, if someone comes at me, the police can find it if the people don't happen to notice that I'm
going to call the police. Yeah. I don't care if I waste, an hour of your time. I'm sorry, but I thought someone, I've had this thing going on, and I'm going to film until I'm positive that I'm in the clear.
Yeah.
Whether that happens or not, I don't know, but he shut it off. It's a very short video. Yeah. I don't know, but he shut it off. It's a very short video.
Yeah. And he did not contact the cops after that. I honestly, and maybe this is because I'm a female living alone, I would have called 911 if I felt unsafe.
Right. No thanks.
Yeah.
To the whole situation. I'm glad it was the whole situation. I'm glad it wasn't me.
Yeah.
But,
Me too.
maybe he's in on this, and maybe he just wanted to entertain the no sleep community, which, if that's the case, bravo, Skinna 555.
You win.
You did a great job. You did a fantastic job. It was very eerie, even though there are some parts where I have holes in it where I'm just like, okay, would a rational person do that in this kind of situation?
The lights, how he's turning them on.
Yeah. Also, he's turning the lights on as he goes through the house, which I get. But if you can see, which I'm thinking he could, you can see better than what the camera's picking up. Obviously, why it's kind of in those rooms to stay in the shadows, but he's turning on all the damn lights.
So anyone outside can pinpoint exactly where he is inside the house.
Right. I would call the police. Honestly, if it were me and I thought someone was outside, I would grab my phone, hunker down in one room with my gun, and call the police, and that's it, and wait. I'm not screwing around and searching my damn house for some paranormal thing to, what I mean?
This is why we have conceal and carry.
Right. This is it, folks. Yeah. This is what it's for. But this is it, folks. This is what it's for. But I don't mess around with that.
No, that's terrifying.
Myself. So overall verdict, do you believe it or not, Cayliegh, or do you not know?
I could see it either way, so I don't know.
I'm going to say that I believe a lot more that it could have been a legitimate break-in than it was his haunting sleep paralysis figure coming to visit him.
I will say that I would agree with that statement. I would even go as far to say I think maybe the first video could have been legit. There might have been someone standing there, and maybe the second was a little bit staged to add something more to the first one, to have something to update about. But again, I'm not accusing anyone of anything.
This kind of paranormal entity. I'm gonna go actually, what I believe mostly is the third option, which is he set this up to entertain a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
and he kind of just disappeared after that and let it go and just let people run with it like we are right now.
That's kind of the beauty of no sleep and internet.
Need no sleep. Drop by Reddit's
Go by
no sleep.
And this is not sponsored in any way.
Not sponsored in any way. Reddit is a beautiful website.
Yes,
I love Reddit. Reddit is a just so much on it is just incredible, and No Sleep is definitely a great part of that.
No Sleep even has a podcast if you're into that.
Great part of that.
No Sleep even has a podcast if you're into that.
There you go.
Look at that.
Perfect. Don't stop listening to us, but
God, don't. No one's going to stop listening to us because they find another podcast they like.
I hope not.
God.
I really hope not.
We're just going to have to start doing ASMR to get people back.
Yeah, we can do that right now.
Start doing ASMR to get people back.
Yeah, we can do that right now, actually.
We can do an entire podcast.
All right, I'm not gonna even jump into that.
We can do an entire podcast.
No, don't. No, I'm done. I'm already done. Okay. Thank you everyone for listening. Be sure to give us a good rating on iTunes and give us a heart on SoundCloud, and let us know. Comment, give us a good and give us a heart on SoundCloud, and let us know. Comment, give us a good review on iTunes too.
Please.
Just
we got featured.
We got featured, yes. ShadowCast is featured in New and Noteworthy on iTunes. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for making that possible. And obviously go check out the other podcasts that we've done. Give us a heart, give us a comment on SoundCloud. Let us know what you think of this whole entire story.
What's your take?
Check the link. I will do my best to provide it if possible. And, plug that in and just let your mind go. I don't recommend doing it at night like we just did. But hey, what are you going to do, right? This is a ShadowCast. We're not going to hold back. We're going to put ourselves on the line for you. No sleep for us tonight. That's how it goes. Alone. Being alone is fun. All right. At night, anyway. Sorry. Yes. Right. Exactly. All right. I'm going to stop now. And again, thank you so much for listening, everybody. And tune in next week for a new ShadowCast. Not sure what's going to be the topic that time. But we will be here more than likely. Maybe we're not.
my God.
Maybe because Cayliegh saw something pressed its face against her.
Kill you after this conversation is over.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. And you'll hear from us again soon. Again, for This Week in Weird, tweet Cayliegh at Cayliegh Elise. You can check my Twitter. Just put in Cayliegh Elise. Cayleigh. Elise. Twitter. And if you got something for This Week in Weird, send it to her, and she, if it's great, we'll put it in.
And if you can, make sure it's legit.
Yeah, please make sure it's legitimate if you can, but she's going to double check
always
anyway.
double check anyways, but if you can save me another step, that'd be great.
It's a lose-lose. So thank you very much again for listening for the final time, and you will hear from us next week. We'll be there then.
Bye.
Be there or be square, folks. And get no sleep tonight.
I won't.
Goodbye.